What's up, everybody, man? Y'all know who I be. It's your man Pooh, CYGG, man. I'm back with another gaming video, and today I'm basically about to be telling you guys why Madden 19 is dead. In my opinion, I'm just giving you guys my opinion why I think Madden 19 is dead. I'm going to be giving you guys 4 reasons, and lastly, I'm going to be giving you guys what excuses you should avoid going into Madden 20. So with that being said, let's go. Number 1. Private beta. Now, the reason why I put the private beta on here is because the private beta, when Madden first released it, was supposed to be used for players who, love Madden, who felt like they had the best critique of Madden or had Madden's best interest. It was for those players to basically get a hold of the game early, play it, give their critique and give their insight on what should stay in the game and what should be taken out of the game. Now, what actually happened with this is that EA didn't truly use this to actually make their game better. Instead, they used this as a marketing strategy for the game. They wanted to make it so exclusive so everybody could get a hold of it and be like, yo, I got to play Madden 19 early. I got to play Madden 19 early, because they did this by giving away codes into the private beta. Instead of just keeping it with the hardcore gamers who felt like they actually wanted to make the game more simulation football based, they gave it to a bunch of casual fans who did nothing but just, play the game early, and who went inside of the forums and gave no absolute form of critique. Now, I can't actually show the private forum in which a lot of players upvoted things that they felt was a problem, because I could probably get, hit with some form of lawsuit. Now, the reason why that was also a big problem is because within the forums, you had a lot of people who actually would do things called upvotes. Now, upvotes would be when a person feel like they put a problem that they feel like need to be addressed within Madden, and then you have a lot of people who feel the same way. A lot of these people felt a lot of these ways about the gameplay issues, the running and stuff like that. It would get like 300, 200 upvotes, but still some of those things would not get addressed by Madden within the beta, because it wasn't used to make the game better. It was just used as a form of marketing. Now, a lot of other game changers and people would make excuses for these problems within the game, saying stuff like, oh, it's a learning curve, you just got to learn how to do this better. And in actuality, it was just a form of marketing. Some of the things that those game changers and other people who kept saying that these things didn't need to be addressed are now the people who are saying these things need to be addressed. Now, that's my problem with it, and that's why the private beta is one of the big downfalls of this game, because when it came out, a lot of people who were supposed to make the game better didn't do it, instead defended the problems, and now it's in the state where it is now. And speaking of that, let's go on to number 2. Number 2, long shots. The reason why I chose long shots, if you guys remember the previous long shots, in the previous long shots, you got to choose between 2 Devin Wades. You either got to be a good-mannered Devin Wade that carried himself with precaution outside of the field, that even when scouts were looking at him, then they got to say that, wow, we can trust this guy. Or you also got to choose to be, a diva Devin Wade, or a guy who was explosive with his temper and couldn't control his anger. Now, those were 2 Devin Wades you got to choose, or you can choose to mix it up and make him balanced, which means explosive sometimes and good-mannered sometimes. Whatever Devin Wade you wanted to choose to be, you had the control over. And also with that, you also got to choose how much knowledge of the game your Devin Wade had. You either got to make your player know every play and have IQ, or just be incredibly talented with no type of football awareness. You got to have complete control over this Devin Wade while playing the previous football, long shots in Madden 18. And this will lead to you having a lot of positives and people talking about your character and your football IQ and your performance. You would get graded on this. In the previous long shots, this was incredible. This made people want to play long shots again due to how it was set up. And EA took an incredible, huge step back this year in Madden 19, because if you go to the site, like, it's just a regular site that gives you it doesn't really even tell you how it even grades you. And when it comes to the story mode is already predetermined. You can't even choose how you want COLT crews to, you know, respond to certain things, or, you know, how you want COLT crews to act. I mean, I said act. I mean, you don't even get how you even want COLT crews to act. Now, with that also being said, it seemed like the story mode centered more around COLT crews than it did Devin Wade. And even when Devin Wade, you didn't even get how you wanted to respond to your teammates. You didn't get to choose what type of Devin Wade you actually wanted. It was like the story was already mapped out. I was about to say 2K. EA took away all the responsibility or all the control that you had over your character by just automatically mapping out how they wanted the story mode to be. And a lot of people didn't like this, and this is what made Longshots take a long step back this year. And honestly, I didn't really like it that much neither. I miss being able to interact with the other people in story mode, choosing how I wanted to be, if I wanted to be hot-headed or cautious with my answers. And that was another one of the things that took a step back. And speaking of taking a step back as far as Longshots, we go from Devin Wade career to talking about connected career. Number 3, franchise mode. Now, me personally, if I was to talk about franchise mode, man, I can make it a whole video just on franchise mode alone, because it is so many problems that is wrong within franchise mode. This year was supposed to be the emphasis of Madden. They said that they were going to put a huge emphasis on the franchise mode. They were going to go out of their way to make sure they fixed everything. Now, one of the big problems is player XP. Now, as you guys can see, I had a middle linebacker named Casey Palomalu. I played for the Tennessee Titans. Now, also, as you guys can see, they took the team captain status off the jerseys. But in his first year, he had 105 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 5 interceptions, 5 deflections. Now, with all of this, he only had 3 XP boost. But if you see this year, I performed even better with him having 9 interceptions. Now, last year, they only gave me 3 XP boosts. I actually had to go to the edit player to actually make him even better than what EA made him, because they weren't giving him the actual XP that he deserved for putting up such a huge performance. And if you guys see this year at the middle linebacker position, I have 9 interceptions with him. 9 interceptions with him, and he is the defensive player of the year right now. He's in the running for it, especially with the Titans being 8-1. Now, the reason why I figured this to be a problem is because if you actually look around the league, this guy's putting up such a dominating performance, but the rest of the league doesn't notice this. Like, if you go to the news feed, once you go to the news feed, you're not going to see nothing talking about my linebacker's performance. It's just going to be talking about defeat on the road, taking care of business. There's no type of backstory. There's no type of buzz being created around my linebacker. If I'm not creating a backstory within my own head, then it's almost like, even though I'm putting up this huge performance, he doesn't exist. Even in the halftime show, if you go in the middle of the game and go to the halftime show, they don't even bring up nothing about my linebacker. Now, the worst thing about this in franchise mode about the halftime show, that it's half of a halftime show. You don't even get to see what's going on within the other game. You just get to see the stats and the score and the record, and that's it. That's it. Plain and simple. That's it. There's no sustenance behind it. It turns into you just actually playing the game, just completing objectives, making your player win games, and then that's it, man. There's no true fulfillment in being a great franchise player, or, you know, coaching a good franchise team. There's no buzz to be created around your team. And to make it even worse, there's no new relocation uniforms. And with no new relocation uniforms, there's also no option to pick all 3 again this year. Like, this year, you would have thought, man, okay, we have Las Vegas as a new place of relocation, as well as St. Louis being a new place of relocation. We would have new jerseys. We would have new teams in this area. But EA doesn't care about that. Instead of making new jerseys and new teams for these places, what they did was put that effort into MUT to where they can make people buy these new jerseys. As you can see right now, guys, the Dark Sinister uniforms, you can't buy these uniforms with MUT coins. You have to actually buy these uniforms with your money. with your money. Like, even the most feared, look at that horror and fright uniform bundle, 1,000 points. Thus, EA is telling you guys, yes, we could have easily made new uniforms for CFM. We could have easily put a lot more effort into CFM, but instead, we chose to put these uniforms and put that time into effort into something that we can make you guys pay us money. And I feel like as a whole, guys, we got ripped off, man. We got ripped off big time, because a lot of people are looking forward to the CFM mode, new jerseys, new jersey options, being able to have all the jerseys as alternate options, being able to have new jerseys in new places, and instead they're putting all this effort into MUT so people can pay them for it. They don't care about us having this in CFM because we don't have to pay for new features in CFM. They care about MUT because most of their money comes from MUT. And hey, man, that is sad to me, honestly. And you know, this leads me to my fourth point. Number 4, gameplay. Once again, this is another topic that if I talked about this specific subject, I would be talking about this all day long, because it is so many issues that's wrong with the AI, especially the blocking AI, which is why so many people complain about it, man. It is so many glitches and crazy things that go on within Madden 19 that it's mind numbing, to where if I actually, you know, want to throw the ball, if I have a player running an outpost and that player runs an outpost to the right and I throw it to him, he's gonna turn to his back shoulder and try to catch it. I mean, it's even times where I even get stuff and I'm like, yo, man, this game is tripping. I can't believe I just got that. And then there's also moments where the players stop trying to run. Like if you break a certain amount of tackles, it's like the other players slow down to tackle you. The nano blitzing is at an all-time high. Bro, it's so many issues wrong with the gameplay, and this is what I'm talking about when I say within a private beta. It was a lot of people talking about these problems that needed to be addressed but didn't get addressed because a lot of people was making excuses for EA, saying that it was a learning curve. There's no learning curve in this game. The only thing it is many exploits. Blocking is horrible. Catching is horrible. Routes are just glitchy. It's so many things that is wrong. The strip ball feature was overpowered. This game was completely unfinished, and the only thing EA wanted to do was put out an unfinished product so that we can, you know, be happy about playing this and be happy about having this. And instead, this is one of the worst gameplays in years. The last lower rated Madden I remember having was like Madden 12, and now Madden 19 is giving it a run for its money. Now, another thing I want you guys to be well aware of is the excuses that Game Changers make for these guys. For example, you're gonna hear, man, these guys spend so much time away from their family and their kids to make this game. You guys need to give them some slack. Okay, now what if I told you guys that Nathan Peterman actually spent a lot of time away from his family and kids as well? That still wouldn't excuse the 6 interceptions that he throws in a game, or the horrible performance that he continuously puts out on the football field. You can spend as much time as you want away from anything, but if that time is not actually used to produce a great product, no one cares what time you are wasting or spending away from your family. No one cares. It's like a college student going to college and spending time away from their family to only go party instead of learn. Now, another excuse you will hear is, oh man, these guys are working on this game. They're telling us about the new features they're bringing in the game. They're adding some new defenses. They're using terminology we can't even understand. Bro, it doesn't matter. A game developer job is to make sure they keep their job so they can continue in developing games. These guys are not going to put their job at stake. Now let's just imagine if these guys told you that, yeah, we had arm tape coming as new equipment in Madden 19. You will be hype, only to find out that the arm tape is only going to be on Alvin Kamara. Now, like I said, man, I feel like this game is trash in so many ways. I don't want to hear no Game Changers hype the game up for no reason. And I don't want to hear them give these same old stories that they always give, man. I want you guys to go to the comments below. Let me know what you guys feel like I left out, because this is also an online gaming as well, man. Online gaming is terrible because everybody used the same plays to exploit the AI because the AI is not smart. This game is dead right now, man. It's so many issues, and the only thing EA actually cares about is MUT right now. They only care about MUT and they only care about making money at this point. That is why this game has died out. When you got games like Fortnite that once something is broken in the game, they are inept to fix it that day or fix it that week. Madden doesn't care, man. Let me know what you guys think, man. Until next time, it's your man Pooh, CYGG, and I'm out.